Hi guys, thank you for tuning into Chumley's Wild Acres. I have a subject that is near and dear to my heart today. It is going to be on the series of living with autism spectrum disorder. It is focused on our twin sons, who, when they were about between 2 and 3, were diagnosed with autism. Diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and they were on the severe end. So we've been in ABA, speech therapy, OT, all the therapies for the past couple years, and we're starting a series to start with encouragement, tips we've learned along the way, whatever we can do to help anybody else going on the same journey, and just share hopeful experiences. So the one I want to talk about today is to never be afraid to be your kid's voice. Our sons particularly are mostly nonverbal. They do have some speech, but for the majority of the time they've been in school and therapies, they have a very small amount of language. Particularly Judah, he just this year has really started to blossom. Jonah was a little bit more, he focused on more repetitive, known as echolalia, more like hear it and repeat it, but not really use it functionally. So I've had to really learn body language and watch their behaviors, especially when they're going to, they leave us and then they come back, how are they acting? And I've had to learn to be our kid's voice. Sometimes it's hard because especially I'm usually a soft-spoken person, so it was really hard for me to come out and be strong and opinionated about my kids. But you start to learn that sometimes the field that you're dealing with, whether it's medical therapy or if it's school or whatever field you're dealing with, sometimes they're overwhelmed, and so you have to make sure to be and speak up for your kids and be their voice for what they need. If you're noticing they're not getting what they need, or there's something that needs to be addressed, it is okay for you to stand up and deal with it, because these years are precious, especially whenever you're starting young. We started doing all the therapies and Head Start in school at about 3 years old, and so much happens from 3 to 5 that you'd think, 6 months go by and they're in the wrong placement, or they're in a therapy that they're just not really getting what they need because maybe they're overwhelmed, or there are some situations where they're just not a good fit for either the caretaker, the therapist, or the teacher involved. So you got to speak up, and a lot of good places will say, hey, I don't think this is working out. I want to try to fit them with this person. That's a good place. If you get somewhere like that, I highly suggest you go somewhere like that. What you don't want is where you can start to see that you can tell with your kids if they're getting what they need. You're going to see progress. You're going to see confidence. That is the biggest tell with particularly Judah, but both of them. I can see that when they're going somewhere, they're getting the education they need. They're getting the support they need. They can feel that the people dealing with them care about them, which is a very big deal, that they can feel that. Then I know that they're getting some level of progress. And usually that's the ones where I say, hey, how's it going? How's their speech therapy going? What are they learning in occupational therapy this week? What can we do at home to really help support what you're doing here? Usually they're more than welcome to tell you what they're doing in the therapies and what you should do at home. Now, it's whenever it's really vague that they're saying, well, I'll update you when we do their assessment, or, they're doing really good. You got to watch out for that, because a lot of times the more vague it is and the more the more vague it is, and you keep getting those answers, you're not really getting what goals they're working on or what they're trying to get accomplished, that might be somebody who's overwhelmed, and that is okay. But I would suggest digging deeper, and for your kids' sake, find out what are they working on, what are their goals, what are they working towards, and it's okay to be that parent, because like I said, these years are really precious. So one of the ways that you can start off knowing with confidence that you can get your kids in the right placement and with the right therapist, with the right teachers, is ask a lot of questions right from the start and figure out, what should I be looking for? What are my goals that I'm really trying to accomplish? So when you go in there as a parent loaded with education questions and care, and so they'll usually go through their eval, because that's not always a common thing. A lot of times kids will go in there, they'll do their evaluation, they'll tell their parents what's going to happen, the parents say okay, great, and then they go on. If you come in as a parent like, okay, here's what we're working on, here's where we're really struggling at home, here's what I would like to see, then they are already right off the bat thinking, okay, that's kind of helping them with their plan of care. It's helping them figure out what do we want to work on and accomplish in this therapy. And then on top of that, when it comes to school, it's a long day that they're gone, so you can start to put those seeds of communication, like, hey, if there's any issues with this, please let me know. I know this may be an issue, so reach out to this person. Just start to, when you walk in and you're meeting that person who's going to be a caregiver for your kids, just walk in with questions and knowledge, know what you're trying to get out of it, so that everybody's on the same page. That seems to help. And yes, you will be that annoying parent sometimes, but it will be worth it. And I promise you, at the end of the day, when the kids look at you and you can feel that they appreciate the hard work you've put in to fight for them, it is so worth it. So anyways, just a little bit of nuggets of knowledge. I hope any of this helps. You can comment below. Please hit subscribe and hit the bell. We're going to be releasing a lot of these, just little tidbits of encouragement. Well, hope you guys have a blessed day, and thank you for joining us on Chumley's Wild Acres.